What's up, everybody, and welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Today we're going to talk about screwing up your peak week, okay? And I can guarantee you somebody right now who's watching this has fucked up that peak week some point, thinking that they're going to do something better that they've already done and wind up looking better on stage. Now, I get emails on a daily basis. So, I get some of them are 6 weeks out for a competition. They say, I'm 6 weeks out, this is what I'm doing, can I hire you for 6 weeks out? Now, in 6 weeks, I will have enough time to look at the data, change a few things, and get to know your body a little bit before we hit that peak week to be able to make the adjustments. Now, I don't like to do a lot of adjustments in peak week, because before, like I tried to explain to you guys, I consider it more of like landing a plane rather than all of a sudden changing these variables and making a nosedive and coming back up and trying to, looking like a fighter plane instead of trying to land a nice 747 on the runway. So I get another one. I get the email. So I'm on keto. I got a show this weekend. So technically you're less than 7 days out. What should I use to carb up on? There's no way I can. There's absolutely no way I can answer that. And if you go to another trainer and he says, "Oh, no problem, you do this," beware. Okay, so we'll give you a little story time right here. And I think I've already told you guys about this story a little bit. It was at Pittsburgh in 2007, and I was working with a guy who, when I first moved to the area, I thought, hey, man, this guy's a USA's competitor, and he knows what he's doing. Like, he's up here and I'm down here, so let me listen to him. And we did this diet. It was a carb cycling diet, high, medium, low. I did my cardio, etc., etc. Did my weight training, did all that. I actually trained in more of a functional bodybuilding training. I trained with my friend Ani, who does all functional training. And what she would do is she would pick one functional training. So let's say we're doing chest. She would pick like push-ups on a ball. Then I would pick flat bench press. Then she would pick, flies on like a TRX thing, and then I would pick, incline bench press. So we'd alternate, and that's the way we trained for that show. And as I went through this diet, it was the same foods. It was fish, egg whites, chicken, white potato, and white rice. That's what I ate for 16 weeks. And it boils down to, I got in great shape. I got sick 2 weeks before the show, which actually made me get into shape even faster. And then it came the day of the show. Now, the last week of the show, this individual says, we're going to use aldactone. Now, in my head, I'm like, I know it's a diuretic, but I've never used it. What the fuck is aldactone? All right, it's a mild diuretic. It works so easy. It'll just pull a little bit of water out of you. You'll be fucking peeled. You can be 198.25 pounds on the button, the biggest light heavyweight there, and you're going to crush everybody. So in my head, I'm going, yeah, this is the idea. Yeah, carved up, crush everybody dry. Yeah, okay. So we started administering this aldactone. Now, I've never used it before. This is peak week. The aldactone starts to work and pull water. The aldactone also starts to pull sodium at the same time. Now, aldactone is a diuretic that will not allow you to reuptake sodium or potassium or water, which means that if you haven't carved up by the time you start taking this aldactone, you ain't going to carb up. It's going to block it until the aldactone's gone out of your system, which can take up to days. So as this starts to happen, I start to dry out. Now, Friday comes, and I'm getting dry. We're at the Pittsburgh. I'm getting dry, and I'm looking hard and full, because now I'm eating all these carbs and stuff before I was taking the aldactone. And then we start to now load with a sweet potato every hour. Haven't eaten sweet potatoes in 16 weeks. Sweet potato every hour. Then we're going to do pancakes in the morning. Now, I'm sitting there going, okay, all these things, I'm just listening. I'm like, fine, whatever you say, I'll do. And I went to bed Friday night looking phenomenal, the best I've ever looked. Awesome, hard, dry, full, yes. I'm taking pictures of myself and going, oh, wow, this is great. I've never thinking, oh, yeah, another picture. Oh, yeah, more pictures. Oh, yeah. And then I wake up in the morning, and I looked like shit. Flat as a pancake. Watery. I'm looking at it going, I haven't had any water. I took a diuretic. I had plenty of carbs. What the fuck? All this stuff was being pulled out of my system, and this guy didn't really know how it worked. Either did I at the time. I had to learn on my own. And as we started loading those sweet potatoes, my body wasn't digesting. I was getting gas. I was getting bloating. My stomach was getting all distended. I'm sitting there going, this whole thing is backfiring. I looked better a week ago. If I did what I did a week ago, then I definitely would have stepped on stage 100 times better than I am right now. Got on stage, got my place. It was like 11th place. I mean, I got hammered, and I knew it. I knew exactly that those last-minute peak week things are what fucked me up. So I kind of regrouped and decided that I was going to take over my own prep for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and I was going to go into the Lehigh. And what I decided to do, and this was with no coaching whatsoever, I wasn't going to change a thing. I wasn't going to make any drastic changes. rolled into the Lehigh, was up a weight class now, went from light heavies to heavies, hard, full, dry, and everyone who went to the show was like, holy shit, how did you transform like that from one show to another? I even transformed from one day to another after the diuretic was out of my system, so I knew what was working. And I pulled the sweet potatoes out because I had farting my brains out for like 3 days and it smelled like sweet potatoes. My body wasn't digesting them. So back to the foods that worked, back to not using the aldactone. I think that show I used a little bit of Diazide, which is like a 25 milligram tablet. I took like a half a tablet, like 12 milligrams. Just enough to dry me out. I even did my protein shakes the morning of the show. I did a protein shake with oatmeal like I always did. Came into that show in the best shape of my life up to that point and did no last minute peak week voodoo tricks. So at that point I had learned it's all bullshit. All this like loading and carb loading and sodium depleting, it's all bullshit. You take that chance at the end and you are going to fuck up all your work if you play around in that peak week. My advice to you is if you're not ready for a show a week out, 2 weeks out, you're not going to be ready for peak week. If you're thinking that, oh, I'm going to pull my water and get shredded, you're probably too fat to begin with, okay? If you're already dry, you just glide in. You keep drinking your water. You don't play with the diuretics. You don't fucking do stupid things like eat foods that you haven't eaten for 20 weeks where your body can't digest it. And you glide into the show. Whether you win or not is up to the judges, but at least you've done everything that you can to bring the best package that you possibly can and look the best you can. BiohackerTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biohackertraining.com is the blog, and where this is the no screw up your peak week bicep. We're out.